Hello, my name is Susan Hart, founder of the Moon and You and the creator of the Synergy Financial Literacy classes. My topic today is, as always, for 2021 is budgeting. More importantly, budgeting on the new moon, which is my passion in life. It's important that everybody understands their spending habits. And for that reason, I have asked my guest today, who is my dear friend and colleague of over 15 years, David Hall, to come and speak with us. Welcome, David.
Hello, Sue. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Look, hurtling towards Christmas at the rate of knots.
Yes.
What's not to be happy about?
Exactly. Well, I've been a bit frantic at the moment because I've had some illnesses in our family. So we've had some mercy dashes across the country to be with relatives who are not well. And so it does take its toll. But we're here, we're landed. And first of all, I want to introduce you a bit more formally. You are the owner of Ten Hats Pty Ltd. And when I first heard about this name of yours, I was really excited because I thought, oh yes, 10 hats. I know 4 of them. I know, being in business, I know what 4 of the hats are that you wear in business, but I was intrigued about the 10 hats. So I would really love it if you could tell our viewers, first of all, what are your qualifications? Why are you passionate about this industry? And the 10 hats, what's that all about?
Well, thanks, Sue. Look, I have been an accountant for a very long time. Let's just say that the 80s were my era. And in most of that time, I have concentrated on helping small businesses. The reason for that is because small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the backbone of our communities. And I believe that if I can help them to become more successful, then that flows through into our communities. They employ people, they spend money within our communities, and there's a flow-on effect which benefits us all. 10 hats. Well, thank you for asking about that. Most people are familiar with the fact that when they go into business, they all of a sudden are expected to become experts in everything.
Yes. Not just their trade, not just
their trade. That's exactly right. We've identified 10 areas spread across 3 different branches of your business that are common to all businesses, no matter what type of business, no matter what size your business, you still end up with these 10 particular areas that you're responsible for. And our work is all about helping you to work through them and understand them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Did you say about your passion, or did I miss that?
My passion is certainly helping small business owners.
Oh, small business owners, yes, of course, yeah. I think that for me, as you know, I'm a bookkeeper, and for me, I've never really enjoyed the accounting aspect of bookkeeping. I know, it's bizarre. It's because I married an accountant, and so 20 years ago when I started my practice, it was all about learning how to be a bookkeeper, but more importantly, sales. So I love sales and I love working with people. I love seeing them grow and watching them just thrive. And very similar to you, but the accounting side of it in itself, I'm not that passionate about, but I do love people and I love being of service to them. So in that we are similar in our beliefs.
Absolutely.
Now, I have some questions for you, which I would love your answers to. But first, that picture behind you. So we're both you're from Newcastle and I'm from Lake Macquarie, which is the next city up from you guys. That is such a beautiful photo of the bogey hole.
It isn't it perfect? Obviously, everybody's been getting used to doing video conferencing over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The city of Newcastle decided that it would be a great promotion for the city if they provided some free backdrops.
Oh, that's great. Yep.
What you're looking at right now is a convict hewn bathing pool called the Bogey Hole, which is in Newcastle, and I thoroughly recommend it to anybody who may visit.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Oh, good on you, mate. First question up. Very simple. What is budgeting?
Thank you. Good start. I can tell you what it's not. There's a common misconception that budgeting is about predicting the future, especially in business. And when I talk about budgeting with business owners, the first thing they say is, I can't predict what my sales are going to be. And I then go on to explain that budgeting is not about predicting the future. It's about making a plan. That's all it is. Plans are not set in concrete. You have to roll with the punches. But that's all a budget is. This is what I got. This is what I'm going to do with it.
That's a simple thing. I love that, because I think people are frightened of that idea of budgeting. One, because it sets it in stone, which I have to tell you, viewer, budgeting does not mean it's set in stone. It's just a plan. It's a perfect answer. It's a perfect answer. So the next question I have for you is, what benefits will our viewers gain if they develop and stick to a budget?
Well, what I found in dealing with my clients is that, funnily enough, you actually end up with more money. And the reason for that is because you have less surprises, that you're more aware of the bills that are going to come in. And even if something comes in that you're not expecting, it becomes an exception, and usually you're prepared for it. And those two things together mean that you have less stress in your life, or one less stress in your life. And when you've got to the end of the budget period or the planning period that you had in mind, you have this terrific sense of personal achievement that you've been able to actually get it done, and you've won the reward.
Yeah. We have had a situation at home here recently. We purchased a lot of stuff a couple of, 15 years ago, like the white goods, the dryer stuff. And in our budgeting, we're going, we're looking at retirement. And so we're looking at all the big items and stuff. We thought, hang on, what about all, like we've got a washing machine that's on the blink. We've got a dryer that's got its handle almost come off, because we bought these 15 or so years ago. I mean, they've lasted a long time, but they're quite expensive. And when you are looking at not retirement, but I'm 55, and so another 10 years I can access my super, and I can look at maybe retiring then. But we have to see, these are the big ticket items that we have to budget for now. When you're younger, maybe it's a little bit different, but so as you age as well, there's necessary, I believe, more necessary for you to budget as you get older as well, more so, because your money is not going to come in. Am I making sense about that? About budgeting?
Absolutely.
And that's probably why sometimes we just go, let's just not worry about the budget this month. Let's just hide under the table. But anyway.
No, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
It's just delaying the pain.
Yeah, delaying the pain. I love it. This is a question that I love, because it's not necessarily about business, because you and I, we are in business, and sometimes it's important for us to have a budget for our business and to teach our clients for that. But what about how can people create a budget for a family and get them to stick to it? Like we're talking about mum and dad, or it's not even a traditional family, it can be whatever families look like these days. But how can we get everybody involved that's involved?
Well, look, you raise a good point in that a family can be a group of housemates,
Yes. Yeah.
So in some respects, a small business and a family are very similar. It's a group of people together that are trying to achieve a common goal. And one of the complaints that we often hear business owners saying is, why can't I get my staff to do what I want them to do? And the answer is because people will only do what they want to do, not what you want them to do. Yeah. And that's the same with your family. So what you have to do is you have to find a common goal. And a good example of that might be something special at Christmas, or it might be going on a family holiday, or it might be buying, piece of sports equipment or something for the family, or a new computer or whatever. And so what you can do is you can sit down with the family, you can explain to them how doing this budget and sticking to this plan is going to help us all get that. And the sooner the better we stick to it, the sooner we're going to get it. So you really have to sell the vision of what the end product is. And then what happens is what you want them to do becomes what they want to do. And they buy into it and they're committed to it.
Yeah, I get it.
So a good example might be if you're going on a family holiday, then get some pictures of the holiday place and stick it on the fridge so everybody can see it every time they go.
Yeah, perfect. It's motivation 101. Yeah, I love it. Have you ever heard of the envelope strategy for budgeting?
I have. And for anybody who's read The Barefoot Investor, which I recommend, that's dealt with in that book very well.
Oh, lovely. Because a friend of mine, they used this strategy and they were sharing with me their story about it and how they have smaller children and they're always complaining, I want this, I want that, I want this. And the mother would always say, no, we can't afford it, we can't afford it, we don't have enough money. And that doesn't really teach little people at a young age what money's all about, because most of us have a money story from our childhood. And the teachings that I have in the course that I have, which is Budgeting on the New Moon, which is completely free to everybody, so get on there and do it. We talk about our money story and everybody has one. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but it all stems from who taught us about money. And so if you could get, even if you want to read The Barefoot Investor, but this is in a nutshell, you get some envelopes and you stick on each envelope a category of expenses that are fixed, like rent or mortgage payments. And I know in this day and age, everybody has direct debits, but you can still do this, but it's still like, even if it's electronic, you can still put it in envelopes to explain to the children, well, where does all the money go? $10 goes here for this, $15 goes here for that, $100. So they can all see what it is and say, this is our holiday. So we're saving every month for that. So you can either have this now and don't go on holidays, or we can go on holidays. I mean, that opens up another can of worms, because the children might say, well, I want this now. I don't give a shit about the holiday. But anyway, that's the whole concept of that, is trying to teach children from that. And that was the idea of the question as well, because I have a lot of small business clients who are mum and dads, and they have children. And say, for example, it's a tradie. A guy is a tradie and he goes out and does his trade. He comes back, he has money, but then his wife, and I just say in this little cluster of a family example, doesn't understand that all that money is not theirs. So I'm trying to teach the tradie, hey, yes, you might have brought in $7,000 this week, but remember you've got a $5,000 trade bill that you have to pay for the wood that you purchased. So really, and then you've got the wages on it. So that's where profit and loss comes in. And they just don't get it. I'm saying, so it all sort of filters down from that. So that's my question for that.
Oh, spot on.
Next question. What's the difference between, I love this question, may I just say, what is the difference between a need and a want when it comes to budgeting?
Well, a need is, I need a pair of shoes for work. A want is, I want those really nice red Manalo Blahniks.
Exactly. That's a clear distinction. That's a clear distinction. Okay.
That's a very glib answer, but I guess the serious answer is that when we go and spend money on a thing that we need, we don't need to buy the very latest, best, trendy thing to perhaps arouse envy in other people. We just need to buy the thing that's going to do the job.
Oh, I love it. Arouse envy in other people. Oh, that is just beautiful wordsmith right there. because that whole question is really confusing for some people, because sometimes the marketing game, advertising, and it's a science, I have to tell you, it is a science. They would want you to believe that your want is a need. They will create a circumstance around where you feel something. You think, oh, if I get this, if this is a need in me that I need, and so that you get it, and they just turn it around. It's not really a need at all; it's a want. And so that's the other thing that I address in the course, is the biases that we have when we enter into our buying state, especially with online purchasing. It's click, 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 click everywhere, and then they just purchase it. And buyer's remorse is huge when it comes to this. So that's it's a big issue for a lot of people. I mean, I do it, and I'm a bookkeeper, and I know what my bias is, and I still buy things and regret it online.
Well, I mean, Suze, you would know from your research that there's a lot of effort put in by marketing companies about immediate gratification and retail therapy, i.e., this is going to make me happier. And that's not necessarily the truth.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to add to that is shopping. Even the thought of shopping creates a dopamine rush, which is the dopamine, which is the joy, which is very juicy and joyful. And you go, oh. So it's not actually even the act of receiving it, it's actually thinking about it. And just before you click on something, especially online, you get that dopamine hit, and therefore it becomes addictive. And that's why people can become addictive when they are shopping, because of that dopamine hit. But if you're aware of that, and now that you are aware of it, when you go to it, you're thinking, oh yeah, this is really good, I can feel that. Then you can just put it aside for a moment and don't buy it, and then wait for 24 hours and see whether you really do want it. Now that means you can get your hit of dopamine, but then you can just put that whole thing to bed until another 24 hours now. Just thought you'd like to know that, Dave.
Well, look, we could spend a whole episode on this. Of course, the thing about any addiction is that the hit that you get lasts less and less.
Yes.
The more you do it.
I forgot about that. Yes.
So then you need a bigger hit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people end up getting into debt because they just end up spending more and more and more to get that hit.
Oh yeah, well that's my next course, how to eliminate credit card debt.
Fantastic.
Or I'm thinking of changing the name to shining moonlight on credit card debt. It has to do with the moon. Everything has to be done with the moon. I try to merge the moon and finances together, and so that's what it is. Because it's true, you have to shine light on not just what you spend, but why you spend, how you spend, and why you spend. It's fascinating when you track yourself doing all these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I understand that you have a budgeting tool that you'd like to share with us. So I would just love to now give you the reins, and you can share your screen with us if you don't mind.
Well, thank you so much. The thing that I'm about to show now, hang on, where is it gone? Where's my share screen? There we go. All right. So what I'm about to show everybody is a commercially available package called You Need a Budget.
Yeah,
enough.
I love it. Yeah.
It is an American-based package. It's written by, believe it or not, an ex-accountant. But it's more than a tool. It's more a system, a way of doing things. And there are 4 rules. So you don't necessarily need their product to be able to follow the rules. If you read through their website and become familiar with their rules, you can use anything. Suze, you have a terrific tool available.
Yes.
Which, if it does the job admirably. So I would just like to recommend this to the viewers, that they can come in here for a little bit of a different take on the budgeting process.
Yeah, and excuse me, Dave, and I see that there's a 34-day trial.
Yes, that's
Wow.
right.
Fantastic. So people can actually trial it for a whole month and just see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And even if you do end up having to pay for it, it's quite reasonable. It's something like $100 for the year or something. So
yeah, great.
Okay, so the way it works is there are 4 rules, and the first rule says give every dollar a job. That means that when money comes in, you have to have a plan for it. Okay, if you don't have a plan for it, then you think it's sitting there to be able to use now. Right.
I love that. Yes, great.
So what I've done here is I've started off with a blank one. I haven't yet got paid for the month, but you'll see over here, these are my bank account balances. I've spent everything. I am absolutely stony broke. Not only that, but the card has a balance of 1,000 on it.
I love that too, because you can actually see the minus. Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you can see there, the total of my accounts is minus 1,000. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get paid. So there are 2 parts to this. The first part is tracking your transactions, which you can do through here. And the second part is allocating your money across here. And it's going to show you what's happening with your money. And I'm so glad you mentioned the envelope system, because what you need to think of is you think of these as envelopes.
As envelopes, yes, of course.
These are electronic envelopes.
Yeah.
So let's start by putting a few transactions in. So for example, let's say that today I get paid. And so what happens is that's money coming in, and it's going in as an inflow, and I save it. And now if I go back so you can see there that my balance of my bank account is 1,000. And if I go back to my budget, it says, hey, you've got money to assign. You've got to give this money a job.
That's great. Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is move on to rule 2. And rule 2 says, embrace your true expenses. So you can see here that there's some predetermined categories, so you've got all your immediate obligations. You've got to pay the rent this week. You've got to pay your groceries this week, all right? But they're not the things that hurt. The things that hurt are the things that aren't due this week, but they're going to come in down the track. So things like car, things like home maintenance, things like your insurances, these are all the things that they're coming, you think you can dodge for a while, and then all of a sudden they're due this week.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah.
I think we've all been there, sir.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to allocate this money, and it's as simple as doing this. So I'm going to say, all right, you know what? I have to pay $400 this week for my rent. You can see as I do that, it reduces the amount that I have left to assign.
Yes. Yeah.
It also tells me how much is in my envelope. Okay.
Great.
So things like electricity. So, electricity comes in every quarter, and boy, can't that be a shock?
Yes. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put $25 aside of this pay. Cover that. And so what's going to happen is that if it comes in quarterly, then I'm going to have maybe $300 to pay that bill.
Yes, I'll see. Yeah, great.
Okay, same with things like water, same with things like
internet,
everybody's got the internet these days, and it comes out. And the thing is, things like internet, you don't have the choice of putting it off because it comes out automatically.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
All right. So, and then what happens? So with a lot of these bills now, because they're direct debits, you don't get to juggle. The only thing, what ends up being unassigned is your grocery bill. And if all your other bills have already been taken out, you got no money left for groceries.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's just put through a few other dollars here. $100 for medical, car rego and insurance. That always hits everybody, right?
Yeah, true.
So if my car rego insurance is about $1,000 a year, I need to put $20 a week away.
Yep.
Okay. So,
and you can work that out quite easily too, can't you? So if you think, well, how do I know how much to put away? You look at the previous years and you go, okay, there's rego, there's insurance, there's a green slip, there's comprehensive insurance. And so you add them all up from last year.
Yep.
And you can just divide it by 52.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're done. And that's your true expense every single week leading up to that. Yeah.
So you can see here that actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make that 225 because I'm going to budget to pay $25 off the card.
Yeah, which is only the bare minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is that it's going to tell me how much I've got available. All right. So there you go. I've done this week's pay. And so during the week now, it's about being able to update what you're spending. Okay. Now, this is the accounting part that nobody likes. So,
yes, I understand. Okay. I understand.
So what I recommend to people is that if you can find, it takes 5 minutes. Most people can log into their internet banking wherever they are, at work, at home, in the car, over breakfast, whatever. So what I do, personally, I sit down over my cup of coffee in the morning, and that's the first thing I do. I just look at my internet banking and I add the last lot of transactions from yesterday, which could be 5 transactions. Doesn't take long at all.
Yeah.
So let's say that we pay our rent because the rent came out. And it's $400 because we know that. So what I've done now is I've updated that. I'm going to just change the date on that. And it tells me that the bank account balance is now 600.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I go back here and have a look at my budget, it says, hey, you assigned 400 for your rent and you've paid 400 for your rent.
Oh, so it moves it from the available into another column to say that's no longer available.
Absolutely.
I see. Great.
Okay. So, and let's say that I go down to Coles and I buy some groceries for tonight and I've bought $30 worth.
Oh.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So it's not, okay, so he's only going to take $30 out of it, so it leaves 120 left.
Correct.
Great. I love it.
So if I'm going on a night out or if I'm going grocery shopping on the weekend, I can see how much I've got left.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Okay. Not only that, if I come and click on this, I go, well, hang on, $30. How did I spend that? You can click on that and it will show you what your transactions are.
Oh, so even if you put a memo on there would be good as well. Some sort of more details. Yeah, great.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's rule 2. Rule 2 is embrace your true expenses. Okay. Rule 3 is roll with the punches. Now, one of the things that you said right at the beginning is that budgeting scares people because they think it's in concrete.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and what's worse is that if you don't think that you're very good at budgeting or sticking to a budget, you don't like to be confronted with that. And every time you have a budget in front of you and you go, oh yeah, I said I was only going to spend $100 on that and I spent 150, and it's a reminder of your failure and you get the whole guilt thing happening.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what rule 3 is all about. Rule 3 is all about roll with the punches. Okay. So let's say that it's Christmas and everybody says, hey, let's go for a drink after work. All right. So we go for a drink after work, and just me being me, I just buy drinks for everybody, and I end up spending $30, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so look what happens. What happens is, my bank account's coming down, but all of a sudden, see this?
You haven't allocated it. Yep.
I've overspent. It's telling me that you've overspent. All right.
Mm.
So what do you do? What do you do in this case?
You transfer money from stuff I forgot to budget for?
Absolutely. You roll with the punches. You go, all right, okay, I'm going to cover this overspending with, well, no, I can't really take it out of my medical. I can't really take it out of my clothing. Okay, I'll take it out of there.
Yeah, I see. That's great.
So what happens is now I've allocated 30, I've spent 30, there's nothing left. Stuff I forgot to budget for, well, I've still got 195 there.
Okay, great. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then the last thing that happens, the fourth rule is to try to live off last month's money. So the objective that we're trying to do here is we're trying to have a month's worth of expenses in the bank account at all times. And so what will happen is that because we're dealing with everything on the one day at the moment, what will happen is that YNAB will start to age your money. It'll tell you how many days your money has been sitting in the bank.
All right, that's where you're pointing now at the arrow.
It will appear up here.
Yeah, great.
And so what will happen is once you get to 30 days, once that little number up there says 30 days, that means you've got a month's worth of expenses in the bank. And once you've got a month's worth of expenses, then you are laughing.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing about budgeting is you get 1 month's expenses in the bank. And then 6 months, is it, or is it 2 months? But I think it's 1 month, 6 month, so that if something happens, you've got 6 months worth of expenses
absolutely
saved.
Yeah, and it's really important at the moment because some of your viewers may be familiar with the concept of long COVID that some people are contracting.
Yes.
Where the symptoms of COVID continue for 3, 6, 12 months.
Right. Yes.
Where they, and that can affect a lot of things. That can affect your earning capacity, especially if you're self-employed. So the more or the better you are at building up that little kitty using this system, the less you have to worry about.
Yeah. I think that's very wise. It's very wise. It's a great tool. Really great.
Yeah, it works for me. I use it personally. I don't get paid for selling it.
No, there's no affiliations. Okay, thanks for
no affiliations.
Neither
whatsoever.
me and me too. So even if it says the moon and me, I love that little homage. Thank you very much for that. So my question: what's the first rule? I've got the other 3, but what's the first rule again?
The first rule is give every dollar a job. The second rule is embrace your true expenses.
Yeah. Roll with the punches and try to live on month's money.
Yep.
Yeah, great. I'm just going to put that in as part of my little spiel when I share this video with people so that they know what they're in for. But this is fantastic. Is there anything else that you'd like to show us on this particular demonstration?
Look, I don't want to overwhelm people with stuff. Obviously it's a little app and it's got lots of other things in it as well. But I think the important thing is just understanding those 4 rules and applying them in your budget, whether you use something like this or whether you use an envelope system or whether you whether you use your tool.
Yep. Now, actually, and speaking of that, I'll just show the viewers where to go for the free course. If I could get you to make me host again, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
No problem at all.
And stop sharing, and then we can. Lovely. Okay, that was a really wonderful presentation. Thank you.
My
Okay,
pleasure too.
I'm just going to now, give me a memento. Okay. So viewers, dear viewers, this is my website, themooninu.com. And over here on What We Love, there's a tab called Member Area. If you click onto Member Area, it's for free. And this is your invitation here to join Budgeting on the New Moon. It's like the class I have. And what you'll have in it, there's 3 meditations. There's a 30-day journal book, a video tutorial about the new moon and her associated star signs, and why I've chosen to teach every class on a new moon. And for my moon lovers out there, I know that you'll understand why, because the new moons are all about new beginnings. There's a detailed Excel spreadsheet. David alluded to it previously. It's about where did my money go? So very similar to what David's just presented, but it's in Excel spreadsheet form, and it's available in Google Docs on your Mac or your PC. So when you download it, it can go onto all forms. And yeah, the best part, it is free. So that's that. And so once you join, you'll then be invited to the private Facebook group, and that's where I'll be doing a lot of lives next year as well. Because my big goal for 2022 is to really help people understand, 1, their money story, and 2, where their money went, and like Dave said before, when you have a budget, how to gain more money, you know, how to find money and stuff. So I'm really excited for that. So Dave, if anybody wants to meet with you, to see you or to talk to you on a Zoom or to find out more about your services, I'm more than happy to take their inquiries and I'll pass it on to you. But do you have any other contact information that you can share with us?
I do, Sue. First, I think probably it's easiest for any viewer to just contact you, and you can certainly give them contact details. But for those of you who have a pen and paper handy,
Yes.
how weird, how old-fashioned to be saying that on a.
No. You know what? The more that we can get away from technology and using pen and paper, it's fantastic. It helps clear the mind. So pen and paper. Here's my pen.
Okay, pen and paper. Okay. The address is, the web address is www.tenhats, tenhats.com.au. Or you can email me, david@tenhats.com.au.
Thank you, David. That's wonderful.
Susie, it's always lovely working with you.
Yes, likewise. It's been such a long time. I remember the first time I met you. It was yeah, you're really encouraging. You were fun to be with. You are not the most. Let me just rephrase that. You are not the typical accountant. You are actually quite fun, and well, not. I shouldn't say that, because we have a lot of accountants who I love and they're fun, but you are really fun. We've had many good breakfasts together.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly.
I try to bring that to all aspects of my life.
Exactly.
And that's why we click so well.
Absolutely. Okay, my friend. It's been lovely to chat to you. Viewers, thank you so much. Please come and join me on the course. It's free and my heart is there for you. Let's go. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Sue. Bye.
Bye.